Welcome back, everybody. A religious group in Iowa has crafted a new pledge for presidential hopefuls to sign entitled the Marriage Vow, a declaration of dependence upon marriage and family. The group's leader, Bob Vander Plaats, said the pledge comes in reaction to New York's approval of same-sex marriage and the recent sex scandals involving former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and Congressman Anthony Weiner. So far, only Congresswoman Michele Bachmann and former Senator Rick Santorum have signed that pledge. Former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty is still thinking about it, and Libertarian Republican Congressman Ron Paul's Iowa campaign chairman says he hasn't signed yet because he doesn't want the government to dictate and define traditional marriage. No word yet from Newt Gingrich, who, as we all know, has been married 3 times. The pledge commits Bachmann and Santorum to personal fidelity to their spouses and asks them to fight gay marriage, abortion, quickie divorces, and all forms of pornography. It also rejects Sharia Islam and implies that African American kids were better off under slavery than they are today. Joining me now is Dana Milbank, national political reporter for The Washington Post. Dana, when I was reading over this stuff, I kind of envisioned Macaulay Culkin in the mirror when he puts on the aftershave for the first time and say, "Oh," and screams. So what jumps out at you after reading the Iowa marriage pledge?
Well, I mean, there's many terrific things in here, Thomas. Now, Michele Bachmann is now on the record saying that married people have better sex. She is on the record coming out against cohabitation outside of marriage, in fact, against seduction. But I think the thing that goes further than all of these, and is really rather more serious, is there's no way to read this other than to say that the people who are signing this are saying that African American children were better off under slavery than they are under Barack Obama's America. It's all in the context of having 2 parents, and they said they were more likely to be raised by 2 parents in 1860 than they are today. Well, maybe that's true, but that would be because their parents were both owned by the same slave master. So we now have Michele Bachmann on the one hand saying the founders would not rest until they could abolish slavery, and now we're hearing that in fact black children were better off when there was slavery.
So you're better off being born a slave baby and having 2 slave parents than to be from a single-parent family.
And not watching or reading any pornography.
Exactly. All right. So explain to all of us, though, what does Michele Bachmann have to gain by signing this, especially so early on, and when she's doing respectably well?
This is interesting because the other one who rushed to do this was Rick Santorum. He's an asterisk in the poll, so he'll do anything to get a bit of attention. There's a lot in this pledge about the importance of having a robust procreation, and obviously Santorum and Bachmann are both score very well on that point. Mm-hmm. She's trying to lock down the religious conservative vote, which is 2/3 of the vote in the Republican Iowa caucuses. On the other hand, as you point out, she was doing very well with that set anyway.
Right.
And at the point of locking them down at this point, it becomes such an albatross should she actually have to, move on to New Hampshire and ultimately the general election.
Well, are blinders on for Iowa? Because what is the calculation for the Republican candidates in Iowa when deciding whether or not to sign this, and the rush to put ink to paper by Bachmann?
Right, and this is why you have Pawlenty, as always, being a bit equivocal and
right.
and waiting a moment. And I think you could safely bet that Romney doesn't want to get anywhere near this, which is why he doesn't really want to get anywhere near Iowa in the first place. It's sort of the Mike Huckabee effect, and Bachmann wants to follow that. If you win Iowa, can you turn it into more of a springboard than Mike Huckabee the last time around? The guy who put together this pledge, incidentally, was the big guy for Mike Huckabee in Iowa last time around. That's clearly what Bachmann's aiming for here, and saying, she'll worry about with the rest of the country when she gets to it.
I encourage everybody to look it up. It's called The Marriage Vow, the family leader, strengthening families. Dana Milbank of The Washington Post. Dana, thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks, Thomas.